Is going to be another tutorial, but please stick around to the end of the video because I have a big announcement today that I think a lot of you are going to enjoy. If you want to, you feel free to skip ahead if you're not interested in the tutorial, but what we're going to be doing today in honor of the button dying on Hermitcraft, I decided I'd make a tutorial for how to build one on Bedrock Edition. A lot of the times transferring stuff over to Bedrock Edition is more complicated. This one I actually think ended up being a little bit easier, but anyways, we're going to jump right into it. I'm going to show you how to build this, and you can have it on your survival worlds as soon as you want to, and it will be customizable. You can have as many or as few colors as you want, or you can have it to where it goes down as fast as you want or as slow as you want. But without further ado, let's get on with it. By the way, I thought I'd mention for those of you who don't watch the Hermitcraft episode, like the Hermitcraft seasons with any of the members on there, the idea behind the button actually came from Reddit, and then Mumbo Jumbo built it in the Hermitcraft series. The idea is that the longer this button sits here and the longer that it's loaded, these lights are going to go down. The lower that the lights get on this color scale here, the closer the button is to dying. And then in theory, if all the lights go out, this whole button will die. This button right here that I apparently just killed. But the idea is that you want to get the lowest color you can, get it as close to dying without it actually dying, and then that gives you bragging rights over all your other server members or anybody you're playing with. So that's the idea behind it. As you can see, it's just gone down to the first notch here. So if I were to come up and press the button right now, the lights are going to fill back up and I'm going to get a white piece of concrete. You can set this up to whatever items, rename them to whatever you want, but that's the idea. That's what we're going to be doing today. One last little tidbit of information on some of my last tutorials. I have gotten a couple comments talking about wanting to have a material list. Now, most of mine are able to be expanded or put smaller, so I had not been putting a material list because it's going to depend on how big you want to make it, and this is customizable as well, but I will put in the description how many blocks I use, so if you build it exactly like I do, you'll know what you're looking at, and then you can judge from there. Alright, so what we're going to start off with is we're going to start off with our lectern. This is going to be the front and center of our build, and we're going to go up above that and back one. We're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and on the 6th block we're going to put a dropper right there. And then you can take these out and you will replace those with whatever building blocks and lights and the colors later on. But now what we're going to do is we're going to come behind this dropper here. We're going to go out 1, 2, 3 with hoppers, up 1, and then back 4 from that. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, so now that we've actually come back 4 from that, now we're going to go on either side of this and we're going to put 1, 2, 3, 4. On this side we're going to have 1, 2, 3. Alright, so now what we're going to do is right behind these hoppers we're going to come back 1 and we're going to put droppers facing into them. Just like this. Not like that. Like this. Alright, so there is that part, and that is your system that's going to be getting the color into the hoppers coming to the dropper here. Alright, so now that we have our droppers lined up, putting items into the hoppers, we're going to set up our redstone that's actually going to shoot the concrete out to you. So we're going to come out here and we're going to come like this. Have enough room for a comparator, a repeater, a block up in front of it. Then we're going to have a piece of redstone there, a repeater to 4 ticks. We're going to have redstone there, and then another repeater set to 4 ticks. And then whatever kind of building block your front's going to be made out of right next to that dropper. Now just to test that, you can come right here, throw an item in here to make sure these timings are going to work for you. And even with a lot of lag, I think this timing will still be pretty consistent because it gives the item time to get there, but you can always add more of a delay right here. But that's how that works. The items are going to get into the hoppers, going to come to the front, get shot out. Alright, the next portion of this that we're going to be making is called a red coater. And we're going to come down, skip 1 block below the hoppers here, and we're going to bring redstone torches down just like this. And now on the front of those, we're going to put some redstone torches like that. And then we're going to come down and back one. And we're going to have a line of redstone torches again. These redstone torches are going to turn all of those off. Alright, so then now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to put a line of repeaters right here. They're all going to be on one tick. If I could get by this hopper. Like that. And then we're going to come down one and back one again. And we're going to put another line of repeaters right here. Alright, so then all that's left to do is behind all of these repeaters, we're going to have a row of blocks with redstone dust on top of them. Alright, there we go, just like that. And now the last thing to do is to put a comparator right here. Alright, our next thing we're going to do is going to be what's actually powering our red coder, and the way this works is that you have some sort of a container behind this comparator, and then depending on the signal that's coming out of it, it will only power one of these torches at a time. So that's what we're going to work on now. We are going to come over here, and this part is going to be a little bit tricky, but not too bad. We're going to have one hopper going into that block right there, and then put a temporary block on top of it. We're going to have a hopper, and then a hopper. You have it set up so where if this hopper right here was raised up, it would be putting items into that. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to put a sticky piston right here up and behind this hopper, and we're going to put a block of redstone over it. That way anything that gets put inside this hopper will stay there until this redstone block moves, and then it will get moved around to these hoppers. Now what we're going to do for your timing here, you can feel free to mess around with it. What I find that works the best for me is anything that will stack to 16, the easiest being eggs. Get 3 stacks of it and put all 3 stacks of them in there. Here, as it goes down, let's say that it's gone down enough to take 1 stack of the eggs out. Now you can see that only this one is powered. So that's the idea behind that. Alright, so now that we've got our output back here with the 1 torch being lit up, the next thing we're going to want to do is come out and put 1 block in front of it like this and run it all the way along in front of these, and then we're going to take sticky pistons and put them facing straight up right here. Now this is what's actually going to be taking your output from the redstone torches and selecting which block you're going to be getting. So then 1 row behind these, we're going to want to put another row of blocks with a row of repeaters. 1 more row of blocks behind that, and just put redstone dust, and this part is all set up. We'll have this hooked up to the button later on. Now we're going to get this piston right here, this redstone block, set up to a clock. So what we're going to do is right next to this, we're going to get a repeater set to 2 ticks coming in, and then we're going to have a block there, and then we are going to have a block right here. Put redstone dust there. We're going to get an observer facing this way. You can see that whenever that goes off, it moves 1 egg over. So now we're going to have a block just like this. There's going to be a comparator, a piece of redstone, sticky piston right there. And then we're going to need to get 2 hoppers facing into each other, just like this. And then you're going to want to do the same thing with the comparator and the redstone dust on the other side. And you can compact this and turn this sideways, but I mean, I don't know, I like the idea of the building being bigger, so. But you have some leeway there to do what you want to with it. But then right here we're just going to do the same thing. Put a sticky piston facing this way, and then all you need to do is put a redstone block there, and this is where you're going to set your clock. If you are putting this in a place in your world where it is going to be loaded all the time, like you can see the clock that I have set up here, which is just one stack of items, it goes down pretty quick. So if it's somewhere that's going to be loaded all the time, you might want to set up a longer clock. If you set it up that just people normally pass through every once in a while, then you're going to want to put less items in there. But just for a rule of thumb, to start off with, you can just put a stack of items in there and see how that works for you. And you'll see as this starts going down while we're working on the rest of it. Alright, so the next part here is we're actually going to need to hook up probably the most important part of this, and that's going to be our button. Our button here is going to be directly above our lectern. So we can just put that in. And then right out the back here, we can bring redstone. And we're going to bring that up to where our redstone dust we had back here in the back. What you're going to want to do is get some glass. And we're going to make a little, I don't know what you want to call it, glass pillar, but like this, so the redstone's able to go up. And then right here at the end, just put redstone repeater, and then you can run your dust right up this, and it will go back and forth along the glass on its way up. And then all you gotta do is just connect this redstone right here back up to the button. So now at this point already we can see that this one right here is going to be selected. So if we had any sort of item in here, let's just say like gray stained glass, and we come back here and we hit the button, we should get a piece of light gray stained glass. There we go. Now we don't have it set up to reset yet, which is what we're going to work on next, which is where this hopper here is going to be very important. So what we're going to do is we're going to come underneath it, and we're going to need a sticky piston facing up. Alright, so now all we got to do is hook this line up here, and we are going to add just a small pulse extender to it, just long enough for the next part of it to be able to pick up and function properly. So just get these two comparators facing opposite directions, 2 pieces of redstone dust, and then we will be good to go there. So you can go ahead and bring the redstone up right here, and now that part's going to be functional. Alright, so now that we've got this piston here powered, the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to want it to make sure that this hopper stays up until it is completely emptied. So we're going to put a block right next to that with a comparator. That way when the hopper comes up, we're reading the how much is in it. And then we're just going to put a block up in front of it, one block down below that with a piece of redstone. We're going to need 1 repeater. That way it's still going to get full power whenever there's only 1 item in the hopper. And then all we have to do is just run this power to this piston. So you can see we've got a stack and 13 eggs in there. If we come over here, we press this button, we get up here real fast, we can see the hopper gets lifted up, it gets held up, and it will do that until this hopper here is empty. And there we go, the whole system's been reset. So at this point we have the gist of it set up. We've got the clock that's going to be keeping it going down, where we have our item selector here that's going to give you the correct color whenever you press the button. All you have left to do is pick your colors, put them inside these droppers. Now the one other feature that you are going to want to add from this is that you're going to want to have the light turned on in the front to match whichever one you have up here. So now, the way that we're going to do that is we're going to take the repeater signal from our red coder here, the same thing that we're using to choose the droppers, and we're going to send it to the front. Now, as you can see, the way this works is whichever one is powered in the back here, that is the last redstone that's powered on the front. This one's not powered. So all we have to do is come down to the front here, come down and out one block, and then we will be able to place repeaters, which is a little tricky with the blocks here. But, you know, you can make it happen. And you can also break this block. And then just, you know, I already got that one placed, but you can break them. You just go back and put them back where they go. But now, whichever one is there raised up, that's going to be the farthest one that's lit up. So now all we need to do is just run these out in straight lines to where the front of our button is going to be at. So now we can have, this is where I would put my colors that you're choosing from. So let's go over here, go to concrete, and we'll just go through the row of them here. So we'll just go with white, light gray, dark gray, black, brown, red, orange, and yellow. And so now to save on repeaters, there is a design you can use, or you can just do repeaters going straight to the front, either way. But just on this first one here, put a piece of redstone, then a repeater. The next one, repeater, repeater, redstone, repeater. The front blocks are all going to be repeaters, but the ones right behind that you can alternate between them, and you'll save a little bit on your repeaters that you have to use. Alright, there we go. Now all we need to do is come in here, replace these blocks right below them with redstone lamps. There we go. We can see that right now we are on red, and if we go straight back, there we go. Now, one thing I do want to add in right here is for all the colors that you have that can be selected. If you notice, which I'm sure you did, it's not centered. You're going to have your lectern right here, which I broke mine, but right lined up with this dropper as well, and you can see there's 4 on this side, 3 on this side, like the way we had the hoppers. Now, what you're going to want to do is come right here, add one more piece of redstone, add one more row of these, and then put something just to mark down that the button is at full health. That, you know, if it's here and you try to press the button, you're not going to get anything. The button is as good as it's going to get. Now, if we come over here, just to show you, let's get all of these eggs and put all the eggs there. Now you can see all of them are lit up, and it's, hey, it's on this emerald block. Obviously the button's doing great. Alright, so at this point you are complete. You go fill your droppers in with whatever colors that you're using, whatever blocks that you're wanting to use, and then you will be good to go. You can write a book telling people what it is and how it works and what they're supposed to do. And then, you know, want this orange one, let's wait. And then your orange block would come out from the dropper that you have selected. The whole machine's going to reset as it slowly filters all these items back into the original hopper. Now, for the twist, when the button dies, you might say, well, what's going to happen? Well, you have the option of either having this set up to where whenever the button is dead and you press the button that you can reset it, but you don't get anything. But in true form, if you want the button to die, we're going to make it more interesting. So let's get some redstone torches here. Let's get a few building blocks. And we're going to come right here to the side of this first one, right in front of the comparator. Coming out here, we're going to put a torch out the side, and then we're just going to do a redstone torch tower up the way right here. And you can make this as high as you want to, but as long as you're above these hoppers here, then that's going to be perfectly fine. So let's just go ahead and go right here. So now get some redstone dust. We're going to run that across. And then you're going to want to bring it up to about right in here where this first hopper that drops down by itself is, and go one behind it. And then now what we're going to do is we're going to get some dispensers. And just put one on every other block or all blocks. Depends on how dramatic you want the button's death to be. But we'll come right here. We'll put this repeater down. Give it a little bit of delay in case somebody's watching. They can really appreciate it. And then now all that's left is fill all of these dispensers up with TNT. Now if it ever goes all the way down to where all the buttons are off, that redstone torch is going to power. It's going to flip all of them. All these dispensers are going to go off with TNT and blow the whole thing up. But that is the whole button in its entirety, and all you'd have left to do is put whatever kind of building around it that you want to have. But I hope that you enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, please be sure to leave a like button. If you have any questions or comments, then leave a comment down below. If you're not already subscribed to my channel, please consider doing it. I've got a lot of tutorials coming out, and also I've got the big announcement that I told you about at the beginning of the video. The big announcement is that How to Minecraft, the tutorial series that I was working on, didn't really seem to be a big hit. I wasn't enjoying it, you weren't enjoying it, so I crossed that out. Instead, what we're going to be doing is I'm going to be working on a single player Let's Play series. And I'm just going to be going through and I'm going to be playing. It's going to be a lot higher paced, a lot bigger projects. I really think you're going to enjoy it. It's going to be a lot more fun. So please be sure to check that out as soon as I have the video coming. Make sure you turn notifications on after you subscribe and you'll be the first to know about it. But until then, I hope you all have a great day and good